Welcome and thank you for joining me in this presentation on Spring 22 Graduate Career Planning. My name is Cambrian Sorel. I am the Professional Placement Coordinator for the College of Engineering, Computer Science, and Technology. In this presentation, you will learn more about ECST Professional Placement Services and how we may work together in your final semester as an undergraduate to secure your early career employment. I will share an example timeline I recommend for your career search activities this semester, as well as best practices and tips in 4 phases of the job search process. We will end with tips for accepting full-time job offers and salary negotiation, then get into next steps for completing your graduate employment survey, which will be asked of all seniors. I will explain what this entails shortly. First, I will give you an overview of ECST Professional Placement Services. Our college is one of 2 at the Cal State LA campus that has a dedicated in-house professional placement coordinator to support your professional development. As the professional placement coordinator, there are a number of ways I can assist you. Some of these areas include resume and cover letter writing, one-on-one assistance with career planning and exploration, mock interviews, interview prep. A large part of my role is also acting as a liaison between you and our employer partners to connect you to early career opportunities. The weekly news and opportunities blast, which is sent to your Cal State LA email address, is also a great way to learn more about new jobs, research or graduate programs, networking, speaker events, and more. You can also join me for career readiness workshops throughout the semester for topics that cover resume writing, interviewing, making connections on LinkedIn, amongst others, in a total of 6 different career preparation topics. Now, more about ECST graduate employment outcomes. The College of ECST is committed to remaining proactive in assisting our career-seeking graduates secure full-time employment and other opportunities to advance while tracking these trends of our diverse and talented population of students to analyze our outcomes. Many of our ECST alumni have gone on to do great things and become distinguished professionals. As a legacy of our college, we want to celebrate your early career accomplishments with you and help ECST students make connections that lead to opportunities. Tracking of hiring trends will give us insight into the demand and value Cal State LA ECST graduates add to industry and provides important information for the benefit of meeting and exceeding our accreditation standards. You will be able to indicate if you plan to continue your education or have other plans outside of working immediately as well. To track your progress and identify areas of opportunity, you will be asked to complete a graduate employment survey before you finish your program. Your response will be anonymous unless you decide you would like to share your name and contact information for follow-up. You can access the Graduate Employment Survey now on Canvas through your senior design course. If you are still seeking employment at the time that you complete the survey or even after graduation, I will still be able to assist you in activities related to your job search. Moving on, I've put together a sample timeline which includes 4 career planning phases that you may have already began over the course of the spring semester. For students that are still seeking employment for after graduation, now is the time to begin or become more intentional in your research and preparation phase. During this time, spend some time doing research on career areas and companies that match your interests, skills, values, and priorities. Create or revamp your resume, cover letter, portfolio if you have one, and start practicing and participating in mock interviews to get interview ready. You'll also want to be prepared to talk about your interests, experiences, goals, and motivations. Your interviewer may also want to discuss items that are included or absent from your resume, like your GPA, gaps in employment, etc. As you are researching and preparing your documents, this is also a great time to set up job alerts through job search platforms like Handshake, for example, our university's job board and recruiting tool. The last few months of your college career and beyond graduation for some should include the networking and application phases. Networking and submitting applications can certainly happen earlier or in combination with your researching phase, but within your final months before graduation, this is a heavy focus area. Seeking out networking events and becoming active on LinkedIn can help build the right connections to find or create opportunities. Keep in mind that an average job search can take up to 6 months, so please do not be discouraged if you do not hear back or get selected in your first round of applications, but also be prepared to present yourself in the best way possible if you do get picked up immediately. An aggressive job search might include applying to 10 to 20 positions within a 2 to 3 week time frame. And this will increase your chances of being called in for interviews versus only applying to a few companies in the same amount of time. The Graduate Employment Survey during your final months will serve as a checkpoint on your progress. Hopefully, this will be a time that we can record your accepted or pending full-time job offer, but if not, the survey is a great opportunity to let me know you are seeking post-graduation employment and may need some additional support in these areas. Lastly, statuses after graduation can vary person to person. You may have job offers and the opportunity to negotiate your salary as a new graduate, or if you do not have offers yet, you may find more time to revisit previous phases and become more aggressive in your search. On the next slides, I will share more tips and best practices in all of the phases that I mentioned. I will also mention several resources which I will provide you links to explore after this presentation. Let's begin with the researching phase. The researching phase involves becoming aware of both yourself and the industry you would like to pursue. Self-assessment tools like Focus2 or ONET Online may be helpful as you consider your strengths, interests, and priorities. What Can I Do with This Major is a website that has information and resources on the different career areas and industries you can pursue with your degree, and you may find they mention career paths you have not yet considered. Researching salaries through the Occupational Handbook, for example, is an important component as you become more aware of your earning potential and can help you be more prepared if you have the opportunity to negotiate your salary. In some cases, you may find additional education will be beneficial for your chosen path, but spend time looking into what key skills you have and what you need to build upon to be successful on your chosen path. In some cases, resources like LinkedIn Learning, which is free for you now as a student, may help boost your resume. Lastly, build a list of at least 10 companies you would like to pursue. Learn as much as you can about these companies and positions related to your major so that you can be successful in the application and hopefully interview processes. Attend information sessions or other events that these companies are involved in or host, and still remain open-minded to companies outside of this target company list and attend those info sessions as well. Moving on to the preparation phase, let's discuss a few tips for preparing your resume, cover letter, and portfolio. When it comes to creating an effective resume, it is always best to start with a clean, basic template. Including tables, graphics, colors, or other images can be distracting, or even worse, make it hard for the applicant tracking system to scan your resume for key information that will prompt the recruiter to call you into the interview. Optimal Resume is a great tool provided by the Cal State LA Career Center to create an ATS-friendly template. 1 to 2 pages are acceptable for a resume. However, it is best to stay within 1,000 words and use your best judgment not to overcrowd your resume with irrelevant or unnecessary information. Your resume should also showcase your most relevant skills, experience, and education to demonstrate why you are a great candidate for the position. It is okay to include work experience that is not directly related, but be sure to include transferable skills that add to your overall quality as a candidate. 5 bullets are usually enough to give a good summary of key skills, experiences, and competencies. It is good practice to tailor your resume for each position that you apply to. This will allow you to be more specific and strategic in placement of keywords or skills from the job description. Here is an example of how you can lay out your resume for early career. Notice the resume includes the highest education level obtained, relevant coursework, projects, and then goes on to describe work experience and relevant activities. Your cover letter is meant to accompany and complement your resume, so it is not always required to submit with your application, but a great way to provide additional information and background to demonstrate your strength as a candidate. Cover letter templates are widely available online. It is best to follow suit with a basic template and include no more than 4 to 5 paragraphs of information. Remember to include your personal contact info and the employer you are addressing the letter to. When it comes to content, begin with a paragraph that is memorable and intriguing for the reader. As you are highlighting relevant skills in your background throughout the body of the cover letter, you may touch on info from your resume, but this is an opportunity to elaborate on areas you may not have been able to cover on your resume. Cover letters also will allow you to make more of a personal connection. So be enthusiastic and always end with a call to action by letting them know you look forward to hearing back from them and further discussing your qualifications. Just like your resume, creating a general cover letter and tailoring it for specific positions is great practice. Here is an example cover letter for a visual of the areas we've just discussed. Portfolios are a great way to showcase your school and personal projects. You can provide pictures and descriptions of your project throughout the process from beginning to end. Portfolium is the platform provided to you by the university to create a digital e-portfolio. Tailor your portfolio as needed, and it may be a good time to start relevant projects now, individually or through campus clubs if you don't have much to showcase. Next, I will share some tips and ideas on how you can engage and expand your network. Networking is defined as the action or process of interacting with others to exchange information and develop professional or social contacts. Your peers, professors, advisors, and others you interact with regularly on campus can be a great source of information or may even be able to help you reach the right person at your dream company. Engaging in professional and social clubs related to your major is an excellent way to meet others that have similar goals and similar interests to yours. You can maintain and initiate professional relationships through social platforms like LinkedIn, where you can showcase your interests, experience, and credentials for others to see. Participating in networking events is a sure way to put yourself out there and meet new people. You can engage directly with employers through company information sessions, career fairs, employer hosted workshops or mixers, or one-on-one in an informational interview, which is a conversation with a professional to gain insights on a career path, industry, company, or general career advice for your areas of interest. The Cal State LA Alumni Mentoring Program might be a great place to start to find an experienced and knowledgeable professional to give you some guidance if you are not sure who to approach. LinkedIn is becoming increasingly important for those engaging in a proactive job search. So here's a quick tip on approaching new connections on the platform. Always send a personalized message with your connection request. Doing so will likely motivate the recipient to connect with you. Start with an introduction of yourself, mention how you found them or remind them that you've met, and connect on common ground, being clear about what you are seeking from the connection. If it is a recruiter for your career area, for example, you can let them know you are interested in or have applied for a specific position, offer a few details on your qualifications, and let them know you would like the opportunity to discuss the position further. Be sure to send a thank you note whenever your connection requests are accepted. Once you have got some research under your belt and prepared your documents, it's time to dive into the application phase. It's a good idea to go in with a plan when you start your applications. Setting SMART goals can help keep you on track through making your goals specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based. By keeping each of these factors in mind as you plan and set expectations for yourself, it may even help control the anxiety that many experience in the job search process. Example SMART goals may include applying to 4 positions per week to start and being intentional in networking with 2 contacts per month, for example. Take some time to consider what is realistic for you and think about how you can manage your time to be as ambitious as possible in your planning. This is also something you can meet with me to help plan out. Handshake, again, is the job board and recruiting tool used by our university. All Fortune 500 companies use this platform, and employers are able to select specific campuses they would like to recruit from. So feel confident that these positions you see on Handshake for our campus are for you. Handshake is a great place to start or add to the list of job search platforms you may already be using. There are many internships on Handshake, but there are also lots of employers seeking upcoming and recent graduates for full-time positions. Handshake is also great because you can send and receive direct messages from university recruiters. This will allow you to follow up on applications you may have submitted or to ask questions. Recruiters may also encourage you to apply to their positions through direct messaging. Make sure that you complete your profile as much as possible. This will help you receive relevant information and to get approached by the right people. You can also explore the Handshake community and connect with alumni or research further into company information and reviews. Staying organized from the beginning with a tracker or spreadsheet will help you remember where and when you submitted an application. In general, a good time to follow up with hiring personnel is within 5 to 7 days, and go from there with instruction on when to follow up again. You may need to list professional references on your applications, so plan who those people may be ahead of time and make sure they understand they may be contacted by a potential employer. It also may be a good idea to get a feel for professors or others that may be willing to write a letter of recommendation for you in case you need it. Lastly, be prepared for assessments in case your employer includes a personality test or technical or competency-based assessment as part of the screening process. When it comes to preparing for your interview, I cannot stress enough the importance of practicing and anticipating interview questions based on the job description while also keeping in mind the company research that you've done. Glassdoor is a great place to start to find questions and feedback from interviewers and employees that have already been through the process with the company you are pursuing. Always be on time, but if you must, do not be afraid to cancel. Many times the interviewer will be willing to reschedule with you as long as you are professional and give advance notice if possible. Thank you notes can also be a huge differentiator. Send this the same day of your interview or the next day at the latest. This is an opportunity for you to mention key takeaways and remind the employer how your experience will help them overcome challenges. You can also mention how you align with their values and goals and thank them for their time and consideration. Hopefully your interviewer is able to give you a good estimate of when you should hear back, but if not, follow up in a week or soon after a specified follow-up date if they do not contact you. Here is an example thank you email. You can see in the example the candidate starts by thanking the hiring manager for their time and immediately recalls something from the conversation that resonated with them. They go on to recap key areas of the conversation, reflect, and explain further why they believe they are a good fit based on the information received. This may also be a good time to include your digital portfolio so the employer can look further into your projects. End with a call to action and let the hiring manager know you look forward to hearing back from them. Lastly, let's cover some quick tips on accepting your job offer and negotiating your salary. Starting with your offer, be sure to ask for your formal job offer letter in writing if this is not offered to you. Review your offer letter, make sure you understand your responsibilities, and ask questions if needed at this point about the position or benefits, for example, before you accept. Receiving an offer should be very exciting and may even be a relief if it is your first offer. But be sure to take the time to consider all the factors that impact your decision, like whether you have a realistic commute or if you will need to relocate and what new expenses you may need to consider for relocating. It's important to trust your gut, so make sure you are not overlooking any red flags in your offer. Think about your short and long-term goals and decide if this is truly a stepping stone for your career path. In some cases, you may have multiple offers at one time, which can be a great problem. If you find yourself in this situation, find out how much time you have to accept or decline each position, and let one or the other know if you need more time to decide. If you are waiting to hear back on another offer before accepting your current offer, try to line up the timelines by asking if the pending employer will have a decision before your deadline to accept or decline the current offer. Be sure to compare each position in totality before accepting. Negotiating your salary may sound like an intimidating process. You may even feel like you will offend your employer by initiating the conversation. In many scenarios, a request for salary negotiation is perfectly acceptable, and ultimately, the worst thing that can happen is the employer says no. Salary negotiations involve discussing a job offer with a potential employer to settle on a salary and benefits package that is in line with the market, and hopefully that meets or exceeds your needs. So it is important to also be realistic and do your research before you put in your bid. There are 3 important factors you can consider in your research. One is the salary range of the position. This will be helpful in giving you a realistic starting point and endpoint. The end, of course, will likely be the highest level of expertise for that position. Next, consider your worth to the company. Ask yourself, what experience do you bring to the table that complements your education? What unique values do you possess that the employer knows is an asset at this point? How much does someone matching your experience make in this type of position on average? Lastly, another valuable piece that may give you some ammo in your negotiation is the cost of living in the area you will be working. Ideally, you don't want your rent or mortgage to be more than a third of your income. Many employers will take this type of expense into consideration and understand that you may need to move closer to your new job. And that concludes this presentation. Thank you again for joining me. At this time, please complete the Graduate Employment Survey through Canvas in your Senior Design course to reflect your plans for after graduation. Feel free to send me an update if your status changes at any point after you complete the survey. If you do have questions, please contact me at csorel@calstatela.edu. Thank you and have a great day.